Imagine getting booked but still working a part time job because your business doesn't feel stable. Second guessing yourself, holding back online, and wondering why it's not clicking the way it should. At the same time, you are navigating chronic endometriosis pain, burnout, and the loss of the person who first believed in you, the one who helped you start it all. That's Taylah, the artist behind Taylah Turner Makeup. 5K to 15K months, the power of mindset and strategy. I want to welcome Taylah, who has been inside the Rubia method. Tay, I would love to hear more about your story. Who was Tay before we met?
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having me. Gosh, we met. When did we meet? It was before August. So I'd lost my nan in April. And it was about 4 months after that I met you. I've been a makeup artist for 9 years this year. I think when I first started, the makeup artistry was all I thought about. It was like, if I'm a good makeup artist and I do good work, then I'll be successful. And I think that worked for so long. I realized that wasn't going to be enough to be artist that I wanted to be and the person that I wanted to be and the businesswoman that I wanted to be. And I started to work with a mentor about 18 months ago on this crazy thing called emotional intelligence. And it changed my life. The work changed my life. And I found you not long after wrapping up that mentorship, and I was looking for someone who was walking the path that I wanted to walk and who was doing the things that I wanted to be doing. From the second I came across your page, it was just like an energy. It was, I don't even know, like if you've ever felt that thing. It's like, I don't know, it's like love at first sight. And I remember just looking at your page and just, I must have came across an Instagram post and it just hit me so hard. I think I was just still wrapped up in that booked and busy mentality and thinking that more was better. And somewhere in starting the mentorship and avoiding all of your homework for the first 3 months, I think it finally hit me that I was still being a little bit avoidant to the person that I was supposed to be. And it was just fear. Like I was just really scared of, I think, showing up and having people see who I am. I think Instagram has given us this false pretense that it's easy sometimes, but it's like the furthest thing from easy. The easiest thing that you can do is to just give up, to be perfectly honest. And that was never an option for me. Finding the Rubia method, it was kind of like the cherry on top of all of the work that I had been doing previously. It's something that you are constantly working on and something that's constantly evolving, and you know, you really have to be surrounded by people and surrounded by a community that like want the best for you and that see you being the version of yourself that you can't see yet. And you did that for me right from the very beginning. And so when you found me, I was on a beautiful pathway already, but everything definitely just kind of all came together. And I think I said to you about a month ago, like I have people coming to me now saying like, oh, like I've seen your Instagram and like I love your work. And prior to the Rubia method, that wasn't happening. I had no clear vision on my business, what I wanted to do, how I was going to execute that, how that translated to Instagram, on my website, my energy. It was all very wishy-washy, I guess would be a good way to describe it. And yeah, the Rubia method is just, I don't know, it's like being wrapped in this big hug, but also like having accountability and support and an actual framework to, I guess, build your own toolkit.
You said that you wanted to find someone who was already walking the path and who was doing the things that you wanted to do in your life.
Yeah.
What are those things exactly?
Well, having these conversations, I suppose, is a very good start. And I think the finding you and seeing what you were doing, it inspired me to want to find the thing that I could help people with. And what I really appreciated with you is that you really took the time to understand that, and then I guess provide
I think I wanted you to find yourself first.
and I think that's such a huge part of it, because I think if you don't know who you are and what your mission is and what you want to share and what your voice is, no one's going to listen to you. And if no one's going to listen to you, then no one wants to, no one really wants to work with you.
Yeah, because it's not authentic to who you are.
100%.
I remember you kind of fighting with me one time. You're like, why can't you just tell me to go like XYZ and I'll just do it exactly. And I was like, no, I want you to think for yourself and for your business and come up with ideas and then come to me.
Yeah.
You know?
And figure it out for myself, which was just so rude, really.
Really pushing you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely.
And making your own identity.
Yeah. But I think it's so important, because if you don't know what that looks like for yourself, then you can't share that with other people.
Exactly.
And there's nothing for anyone to buy into. Yeah. And I don't say buying into just like financially, I mean like emotionally as well. I've connected so much stronger with so many of my brides and my clients probably in the last 6 months than what I have in my entire career.
Wow.
But I think the vulnerability of being able to put my walls down a little bit and have them see me as a person, not just as someone who's trying to go viral on Instagram.
Or just a service provider.
100%. It's really, I think, the internal shift that mattered the most. Yeah. And, you know, when you when you're starting to talk about building a business and you're trying to find someone to work with, finding someone that's not going to just give you all of the answers, I think is really important. Yeah. And I've been really, really blessed with you and my previous mentor, Nerida, to have people that A, didn't want to give me all of the answers and made me work for it myself, and B, that had the patience to let me figure out that I had to put in the work myself. Yeah. And I think the third thing is calling me out a little bit. And you did that in a very kind, thoughtful way, as thoughtful as you could be. But like, I think that's necessary. I think that also speaks to, you have to hold yourself accountable as well. And I was not very good at doing that prior. I was always shifting the blame onto something else. I don't have enough time. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. That person's better. Like,
it's like when you want to avoid the task, your brain comes up with the list of excuses. And I remember you bringing those lists to me. And I was like, okay, there's a pattern there.
Yeah.
The struggles that you faced, I want to listen about those struggles. Even like, for example, if I gave you certain tasks or if we talked about few things, how did you struggle with those things? Like, show us your inner battles. It's not just easy to show up on camera or create the content. So we want to know the real behind the work.
And I think looking at it now and what I'm posting and what I'm doing now is so very different to what I was doing 6 months ago. Yeah. And I think the reason I avoided things so heavily was A, fear. I was really scared about what people were going to think of me, which is debilitating even in its own right. I probably deep down didn't think I was worthy of having the platform and the voice and the, worthy of the bookings and the success. And I think the excuses just came from, it was just much easier to make excuses than it was to do the work. Because it is. It's much easier to just find a reason not to do it, like you said, than to actually execute.
Yeah.
And I think when you're not executing, you're really worried about what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
You're so busy thinking about, oh, like, where is that going to get me? What are other people going to think of that? How many likes is that going to get? How many bookings is that going to get? Like, I was so attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
I just put myself in freeze mode. And that's
Do
when
you
I got
think
all the
it's because
excuses.
you were happy with the safe life that you have
Oh.
created? Like, you knew what you were doing, what's the outcome? So this was literally exposing yourself to a new world.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you are someone, I think you really had the biggest shift halfway through the mentorship. First 3 months, you didn't do anything.
No. Don't let my husband hear that.
So I want to hear more about it. And then what was the shift where you were like, okay, no, this is my wake-up call now?
I wasn't booking people the way that I wanted to in my business. I wasn't showing up for my business. I wasn't answering inquiries. I was just in complete avoidance mode. And I think I just got to the point where I was like, well, you are paying for this mentorship and you have this incredible person on line one that wants to see you succeed, and you have an incredible husband that supports you, and you have a family that wants you to be successful, and you're still making excuses. Like, that's not on anyone else, that's on me. And I spent so long trying to come up with reasons why it wasn't my fault that I just literally woke up and it would just hit me in the face like a ton of bricks. I can't remember what the exact thing was, but I remember getting on the call with you and being like, I've been really mad at you. Do you remember that call?
I remember that call. I think that was the biggest shift in our mentorship.
Yeah.
So share more about that call. You were really mad at me.
I was so mad at you. Yeah, I was. And I think it was because you weren't giving me the answers. You just kept giving me more tasks. And I was like, what part of this do you not understand? I'm not doing the tasks. Like, why do you keep giving me these things to do? Why can't you just fix it?
Yeah.
It wasn't on you to fix. It's so much easier to have someone give you the answer than it is to figure out the answer yourself.
By actioning those things.
100%. And you don't learn if you don't do.
I remember one of the main tasks was that I wanted you to get on the call with your potential clients. And I'm not going to do that for you, right? And I think I really pushed you by saying that, okay, we're not jumping on another call unless you go and do it.
Yeah, you really had to hold me ransom.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm a little bit embarrassed by the fact that that was what it took. But I also really respect that you put me in a position where it was like, well, if you're not going to show up for this, I'm not going to show up for you. And whilst that felt a little bit hurtful at the time, that was definitely the catalyst for me to go, well, she's not just going to keep showing up for me if I'm not going to show up for myself.
Do you know the main reason is because I am working with so many beautiful women. If I start giving everyone the exact thing, it's literally going to be a copy paste.
But imagine if you did, though. I wouldn't be where I am if you had have just given me the answer or sent me what I needed or like did it for me.
Because who you are right now, that's your identity for the rest of your life. If I had given you the exact task to do, the minute the mentorship ends, you're lost again.
Yeah.
We know, how you went through that whole journey of your emotional battles and then resisting the things that you were afraid of seeing the results of after doing those tasks and taking the actions. But then the shift happened and you took the first action and then you started seeing the results. How did that feel? Can you describe it?
Honestly, slightly frustrating because it was there and it was in me and I had the power to do it the whole time. I was just choosing not to.
Yeah.
And then after, obviously, the little bit of frustration with myself for not doing it sooner, it definitely just feels a lot lighter, I would say.
Yeah.
And I feel so proud that I get to now be this version of myself that's not perfect and that's not got it all figured out, but someone who is willing to take a few missteps and someone who is willing to not be perfect online and someone who is willing to do the actions that I need to do in order to reap the rewards that I so desperately want. Like, I want time freedom. I want that financial freedom. And it's not even so much this dollar in my bank account. It's my husband and I being able to wake up on a random day and go for breakfast together and not worry about the price of the menu. And it's being able to book this beautiful weekend away, and it's being able to say no to some jobs, which I can do now. And previously I didn't have the capacity to do that. I didn't know how to say no. And so I think that when I look at where I'm at today and how I'm showing up, even though I was really mad at you at the time, I'm really grateful, because without that, I guess, ultimatum and that push for execution, I wouldn't have figured out how to show up for myself, not just online, but also just in life in general.
Because I would say that was like a wake up call, right? And it happened like right in the middle of the mentorship.
Yeah.
So do you believe that when you really take actions, you can even see results as little like as 3 months, because everything happened in last 3 months, right?
Yeah.
So
Also frustrating, because I was like, oh my God, why did you not just do this from the beginning? And the last 3 months, thank God, things compounded and there was momentum, because I did struggle in the first half of the mentorship.
Yeah.
And the second half, I mean, the results, I think, spoke for themselves as
they
far
were
as,
just incredible.
yeah.
So you managed to go from 5K to 15K in the last 3 months. And it wasn't about your skill set that took you there, because you had been doing makeup for like past 8 years, right? Now, what were the biggest mindset shifts you think you did for yourself that happened, that financial breakthrough?
5K a month is a great business. That's not a small amount. And I think wherever you're at in your business, if you're showing up and you're doing it, like, your version of success is your version of success. It's not for comparison with others. But I was very inspired by people that were earning 5-figure months. And at one point that felt very out of my reach. But I think that inextricable connection between how worthy you feel to receive money and how worthy you feel of success is directly connected to what you do actually receive financially and in bookings. Like, that translation cannot be ignored. And so I think when I was earning 5K, I was confident in my skills and my business. I knew I was good at what I was doing. But to go from 5K to a 15K month, the version of myself that got there was very different. And I was very in touch with that energetic plane. And that, honestly, you know what, it can sound as woo-woo as you want it to sound. Like, I actually don't care. You have to be open to the fact that money is an energy as well.
Yeah.
And if you are not attracting it, you are most certainly deflecting it.
Yeah. I believe in that so much.
Yeah. And I think if you're not really, truly, intrinsically worthy of receiving it, like you yourself, it's probably going to go to someone else. One of the biggest things that I think I've learnt across my mentorships is you wake up worthy. You are worthy. Your worthiness is not tied to how many hours you work, how many weddings you book, how many clients you have, how much money is in your bank account, who your partner or your husband is. None of that is connected. Your worthiness is just who you are when you wake up in the morning. You have to wake up and go, I am worthy of this business. I am worthy of this success. I am worthy of the clients that I have, and I am worthy of my future clients. I am worthy of my life. I am worthy of what lands in my bank account. Yeah. Like, that is such a big shift for me.
You know how I say that you need to start speaking like your future version, talking like your future version. You need to
100%.
dress up like your future version. So what is
Yeah.
that? Because you are setting goals for your future.
Yes.
It's like you have to become her
Yes.
to be able to achieve that.
Yes.
I know a lot of people like it's very hard to understand this concept, but that's what you like. You went through the whole journey. You became her, and everything was waiting there for you.
And that's the difference. Feeling my confidence translating to my brides, and this immediate energy shift that had happened within me of I'm not scared about them saying no. The first thing was being worthy of what I was receiving.
Yeah.
And I think the second thing was just believing in myself, because really at the end of the day, like, you believed in me right from the very beginning. Yeah. My husband believes in me. He says, why do you need these mentors? Because like I tell you, I believe in you all the time, which is beautiful, but he's also so close to me. And so now, of course he believes in me. He's my husband, he's my person. But the belief in myself, and that has to come first. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the belief in yourself and the worthiness that you deserve the booking will just fly away from you.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with anything else, I don't think. Which probably will upset a few people, because like I know people work really hard on their price guides, and I'm still editing mine again because occasionally I go back into that, oh, well, if my price guide looks better, then that will get me the booking. But I mean, it has something to do with it, but it really is not.
Yeah. So you are your strongest tool.
100%.
Believing in yourself, being worthy of what's possible for you and your future.
100%.
If you can talk to me about how you grew your personal brand.
Personal brand is a tricky one, because I feel like it's probably the thing that I'm still slightly on the cusp of cracking the code of what that looks like for me personally. I think I was looking a little bit too left and a little bit too right there for a little while.
Yeah.
And I think now I've kind of landed with, well, my Instagram is probably never going to be maybe as polished and as, you know, like aesthetically pleasing as some. And that may change, that this is an ever developing personal brand over here. The confidence of being able to show up on Instagram as myself and like have this funny, the Devil Wears Prada voiceover, and show myself being a bit more vulnerable about the opportunities that I have, and talking to people about, you know, my business and the coaching side of my business. But I think what's the most important is that you do it from a place that
feels most authentic to you.
Definitely.
I was talking to someone yesterday, and personal branding, we all like get really scared of this word. If I have to really simplify it for someone, I would say it's like holding a mirror and staring into your soul. It's not a different identity.
Yeah.
It's you. You know, when people struggle with this, that means it's like, you know, you get scared of embracing yourself.
You're not aligning with the
Who
authenticity.
you are. And you need to embrace all the good and the bad things about yourself. And then you need to, like, you know, open yourself up to the world.
Definitely.
So it's a journey. It's
Absolutely.
a journey with your own self that you need to embark on.
And I think that's not to say that it can't evolve over time as well. But I think the beauty of sharing that journey is that people can see it evolving.
Yeah.
And they see where you started and where you are now. And I have, you know, and even just today, like on the plane, like sharing the Instagram story that I shared about being booked to do this podcast and being flown to Melbourne. It was my most liked story. It was the most comments that I received. It was the most messages, and from people that I know are like watching and supporting me, but a lot of those people have never reached out to me before. And it wasn't like I didn't do the story for that gratification and validation. I was genuinely so excited. But I think the opportunity for people to see like the other side of what I'm doing and what I'm working towards and what I'm achieving really made them want, like, I know they want to see me win. And I know they love seeing me succeed.
Yeah.
And I think I've created a place on my Instagram now as well where they see me be a little bit vulnerable, and they see me be really successful, but they also see where I came from.
Yeah.
And I think
And where you're heading.
100%, that trajectory, I know, is really attracting people to be in my realm. Like, I've gained 1,000 followers since I started the Rubia Method. I went back and I had a look, and I sat under 2K followers for so long.
And you know, for some people, like, they only count these things when it's like, oh, I gained extra 10K or 20K. But do you think now these 1,000 people who are in your space, they are the most aligned people who are there because of you and for you?
100%. And I think there's a lot to be said for growing slowly and consistently. But also, when I was chasing those numbers, I was chasing virality, and I was chasing clout, and I was chasing validity. And I'm not chasing that anymore.
You're just being you.
I am. And honestly, the power that I feel in knowing that, like wholeheartedly knowing that, what I wake up and I strive towards is, okay, this day, this is what I'm going to share. This is what I'm working towards. This is what I want people to see and know about me. And then I wake up and I do that the next day. And I just do that every day. And that has made a huge difference to even just how I feel about my Instagram. I'm not projecting this version of myself that either doesn't yet exist or that doesn't exist at all. I'm showing them who I am right now.
I think the lesson for us to learn here is that sharing your wins, your good days, your bad days, who you are, where you are going, it is the strongest tool that you can use to connect with your audience.
Yes.
And so many of us, again, because of our limiting beliefs, we try to hide behind our services. We're like, no, I can't do that. I'm not going to talk about this win or the money or the 2 followers I have gained because someone's going to judge me. And I think you are someone who really broke that veil, and you're like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
These are my good days. These are my bad days. That's how I feel. So do you think that was really hard for you to do? Or once you saw the possibilities, you were like, no, this is everything I need?
You know, you talk about personal branding and picking up a mirror, and that personal brand, that's the thing that you need to present to the world. The mirror also shows you everything that you don't want other people to see. And it also shows you all of the things that you really avoid in yourself. When I started to break down, I guess, the things that I was really avoidant of in myself, and the things that I was projecting as well. And when I talk about projecting, I mean like the emotions that I was feeling. I was kind of being a little bit judgmental of others to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you're not only, I guess, making other people feel not so nice, you're actually holding yourself back from being able to, I don't want to say be a better person, but becoming like that higher version of yourself does really rely on you to, like, it's not about being perfect. Yeah. It's about understanding what you need to work on and what, I suppose, your weaknesses are. You know, I think one of the biggest things that has unlocked that, I would say, contentment in me being able to show up online and really not be bothered about what people think of me is that I've accepted this version of myself wholeheartedly.
I've noticed one more thing, and I think you were one of the strongest persons, like, in terms of mindset there. You know, when people invest in themselves, when they start working with someone, or if they see any kind of shifts, they really want to hide it all. But you are someone who was just from day one, you're like, this is what I'm doing, like, you know, even behind the scenes, and these are my struggles and all of that. What would you like to say to those people? Is there something like they're missing out on? Like, because you are big on mindset and, you know, you have so much knowledge in that space. So what can you share with us?
What I try to remind myself is that when I'm feeling that I'm struggling with something, or I'm feeling sad or nervous, or when I feel bad about something, that all of those emotions are completely okay. When I'm feeling good and excited and happy about something, that's also an opportunity to share. But what I realized was when I was sharing with the Rubia Method community in particular, when I was being a little bit vulnerable, it also encouraged the other girls to be a bit vulnerable about what they were maybe struggling with. Yeah. And I think that's really important. And you've created such a safe space for that. I don't know that if I was existing anywhere else that would have been the case, but I definitely felt like there was a opportunity to share a little bit deeper, not just like, oh, I booked this bride, that's amazing, I love that. But when you're only hearing about the wins, you do kind of go into that like little bit of comparison. But I think when you start sharing the things that, you know, make you feel a little bit inadequate or make you feel
that it's okay to make mistakes.
Definitely people share those things, I would actually argue that it's more powerful than seeing other people's wins.
Yeah.
The wins are amazing and the wins are inspiring and they're motivating, but understanding that everyone has those other emotions and those other vulnerabilities and those other struggles really, really, really grounds you and reminds you that you're not alone and that it's okay to have things that you need to work on. They're all different for all of us. But I think when we hide those things and we only share the wins, we're really doing a disservice to our emotional well-being.
So now I know that you have a cleaner as well.
Yes.
I want to talk about all of these things because I think we women, we all crave for these kind of things in our lives. We want the softness, we want the help. We don't want to do everything ourselves. And as I say, we shouldn't do it all, you know?
Yeah.
So how does that look like now? And do you think being a little bit more financially independent and having that help and having more time for yourself has affected your relationship with your husband as well?
Yes.
So we really went from cleaner to the relationship with husband.
I am very fortunate that my husband was our cleaner prior to having the cleaner. You know, it took us a really long time, and I think why the conversations around what your strengths and your weaknesses are really important, particularly with the person that you are choosing to spend the rest of your life with. You don't have to be married, but
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate he put a ring on it. But the concept of I love cooking, hate cleaning. Dan is the complete opposite to me. He's a clean, beautiful, tidy energy to be around. I'm like the creative chaos. Hiring the cleaner was definitely a beautiful way for him to not be constantly frustrated by my chaotic creative mess that I would make. It also allowed him to, I guess, step into his masculine and kind of, you know, like focus on the lawn and the outside and not feel overwhelmed when he was coming inside. And for me, I love cooking. I love presenting like a home-cooked meal. I wouldn't say no to a private chef, don't get me wrong, but I really enjoy it. And so we found this like really beautiful balance with one another. I think it actually taught us a really valuable lesson just about life in general. You don't have to be good at everything, but you do have to choose your hard. And for me, I think if you are constantly trying to do something, fix something, or show up to something that you really just don't like doing, it's a really good time to think, okay, can I outsource this so that I'm not constantly getting frustrated and agitated by that thing? And don't think about it like a cost. Think about it like an investment, because you're passing something else off so that you can create space to do something that you actually want to do. It was the same hiring a virtual assistant within my business. And you are the queen of, I think, outsourcing so that you can continue to work on what your strengths are. And I found that so inspiring. I know so many other people do, but I think it's more than just I'm financially able to do that. It's actually just smart business as well, because you allow yourself the time to do the things that you really want to do. I think these mentorships as well, I really was a very masculine energy. I was constantly trying to control things and book things and I had to be so like in everything.
And I think it's in us that we really want to prove something.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
out there to prove something. We can
100%.
do it all. Like, and I'm good at everything. That's, not the right
the
way.
being good at it all, I think, is something that affects a lot of women. And I think the concept of when you're constantly busy, then you're achieving things. And we wrap our worthiness up in being busy
Busy,
all the time. A really consistent theme in a lot of people that I speak to within the Rubia method now. And it's actually debilitating because not only do you get exhausted physically, but mentally, we're not supposed to carry the load of that.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have space to stop and sit in our own space with silence and calmness. And a lot of people can't do that. I couldn't do that when I first came into, I suppose, understanding that I didn't have to do it all.
Because we are used to thinking that this is a strength. But it's now, I think that if you're not able to outsource and trust other people, it's actually a weakness.
Definitely.
Because that shows that you're not a leader.
I think you should ask yourself why you feel like doing everything validates you.
Yeah.
Because it's validation. It's so that, whether it's your husband or your friend will say, oh my God, thank you so much for doing that. Oh my God, thank you so much for doing that. You constantly want that validation, that external validation. If you can't validate yourself and you're constantly outsourcing that, you're also just outsourcing your worth too.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous way to live, I think, because
Yeah.
you're constantly relying on other people to feel
Because you can't
good.
stop, you can't pause. It's addictive.
And I think that's part of the problem. Like you start and then you don't stop and you don't know how to stop. You don't know how to get off the merry-go-round and just keep going round and round and round until, I guess for me, like it was losing my nan. Just my whole world stopped. I didn't have a choice because I couldn't keep doing it. Same with my mum, it broke us into like a million pieces. And putting that all back together was really hard. And when you've spent so long doing everything and being everything to everyone, because you feel like that's what you have to do, and then all of a sudden when you can't do that, you feel like you're failing. And I would argue that being able to recognize when it's too much is actually one of the biggest strengths and the biggest gifts that you can actually receive.
When we look at the businesses and the structures and when we do these things, like even this mentorship, we're getting more bookings now or we're making more money. But I think this is the real stuff that we need to talk about. Strengthening your relationships with your husband, your mom, embracing yourself who you are, being happy in the moment, not doing everything. Those are the real things. It's not just, okay, now we have bookings that may be paying us more.
Yeah. I think the metrics need to stop being on how busy we are and how much money we make and how many bookings we have. Like, how often do you see like, I booked 20 more weddings this month? I'm like, that is amazing. And I'm really happy that your business is successful. But
is it at the cost
at
of
what cost?
Yeah.
And are you willing to look at that? Because those are the metrics that are going to be the difference between you being able to do this for the next 10 years and you surviving the next 10 months.
I think my biggest goal was to create a safe space. And, we present this like polished version on Instagram and like always showing up so glammed up. And I remember I was barefaced, right? And what did you tell me? Do you remember?
I was not expecting that.
And Taylah actually said that, thank you so much for showing up like this because now I feel safer to open up in front of you.
We have become so obsessed with the aesthetics of what being successful looks like that we've forgotten to focus on what it feels like.
We are forgetting to live our lives.
Why are we successful to begin with? Why do we want to be successful to begin with? The life that I am living now was a pipe dream at the start of the year. And I can remember it so clearly. My non-negotiable was focusing on my health because we want to start a family, and I was just not focused on that like at all. And it felt really overwhelming. And the goal was to go full-time in my business. And the pipe dream was to have my own studio and to start receiving PR and to start like doing this stuff and like coaching people. Like that was my pipe dream. Can you imagine me like 4 months into this year sitting here and just everything that I thought was just out of reach is now true? And you cannot tell me that it doesn't have things to do with like focusing on how you feel and having honest conversations and showing up for yourself and believing in yourself. I said to you earlier, this feels like I'm living in an alternate universe because like what I thought was possible has just been completely blown out of the water, and we're not even halfway through the year.
We had so many beautiful things to talk about. I completely forgot about the win of your studio. Because I remember you sharing me that I want to quit my job and have my own studio. You are living that reality now.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to ask how does that feel because I think we already know.
Yeah. I'm sitting here and the pipe dream is now my reality, which feels wild. But I don't want that to be confused for like that landed in my lap or that's easy or that's luck. Luck has nothing to do with it. Luck helps your plane arrive early. But what got me to where I am was being able to recognize that there were things within myself that I didn't love. I was combative and I was reactive and I was not willing to acknowledge that I wasn't perfect. You know, and
Again, holding that mirror up close and personal.
100%. And it's okay. It's okay to not be perfect.
I think it's beautiful not to be perfect.
The idea of being perfect definitely will get you to a certain level or a certain place. And if that is where you're at right now, I think that's also okay. But I think that the real power and opportunity and success comes from being able to put down your walls a little bit, be vulnerable with others, let people in, let people tell you what to do. I was very bad at that prior to the mentorship, and my parents would definitely agree with you. I'm not great at being told what to do. That doesn't mean that I'm not good at it or that I don't know what to do. It means that I have to be able to accept help.
What would you say to your old version
Oh my God.
who was thinking of joining this program and who felt lost at the time?
When I told my husband that I'd found the mentorship, he was like, okay, but do you think you really need it? And it was definitely a situation where I asked for his forgiveness, not his permission to do it. Sorry, honey. But I felt this like deep pull to just be in whatever you were doing. You could have been selling ice cubes and I probably would have been on board. You are so clear on your vision and what you want and how you want to execute it. And I could tell that you were the person that was kind of going to steer my ship the right way. Because I was very lost when I first joined the mentorship. I didn't really know what I was going to do or how I was going to do it. If I could go back, I wouldn't change it for the world. I still wouldn't tell my husband, I don't think. He'll be mad that I said that, but you know, looking at my life now and my business now and where I am and where I'm going, zero regrets. I know my husband is so proud of me, and I know that he's so proud of the person that I'm becoming. And like the life that I'm building, like it's for us, like it's not just for me, it's for him too, and for our future and our future children. So to anyone that's like on the fence about it, I think you have to just take the leap and be uncomfortable and put yourself in uncomfortable positions if you want the benefits of what's on the other side of that. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, you are just going to be in the same spot. Like I play soccer, so I love the saying, and it's like you will miss 100% of the shots you don't take, the kicks you don't make. So you have to take the leap. You have to make the decision and you have to do the thing. Because if you don't, you will 100% stay where you are. And if you don't want to be where you are right now, but you're also not willing to take the leap or make the decision, you're never going to move any closer to your goals.
How does it feel to be a very lost person a few months ago and now helping others find their light? Because we've really come from being a student to now being a mentor.
I know, it's crazy. And you can probably relate to this. Part of the reason that I was able to elevate to this position, I see a lot of myself in a lot of what the struggles are. But I also think that the struggles are very similar and consistent. And so the challenges are usually quite similar. And most of it is mindset. And most of it is just undoing limiting beliefs. What we tell ourselves can be very different to the reality of what is actually happening. And that was probably the biggest thing that hit me like a ton of bricks in the middle of our mentorship, was the story that I was telling myself was very different to the reality of what was actually happening. But you have to be working with someone that's willing to call you out on that and snap you out of the story. So to wrap that all up in a bow, I've been through it, so I understand it very deeply. And I also notice it very quickly, and I can see it in real time when it's happening. And I am very early days in my position of being a mentor and coaching people, but I know well and truly that this is the path that I'm supposed to be on. Because when I have those one-on-one calls and those group calls, and I'm able to see what's happening and listen and understand and be able to provide an alternate path of thinking. I think there's this connotation that like being jealous of someone is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just showing you what you truly want.
Yeah.
One of the very first conversations that I had with my first mentor was about, I made a comment, oh, well, everyone's a coach these days. That was the biggest projection of my life.
Because you wanted to be one.
Exactly.
And I saw that in you from day one. I remember you asking me, do you think I'm ready to help others? And I was like, you have been ready for a long time.
Yeah.
We would love to hear about your offer.
I'm working on doing some mentorship. Like, it's not surface level. We do get deep. There is crying, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But my goal is just to help the versions of me, the past versions of me that really needed my voice.
And I'm so grateful for you for providing that safe space for my students now as well.
I think a big part of wanting this business to be a success, not just financially, but also sustainably, so that I could have more time for rest. I was diagnosed with endometriosis, but I'd been having issues for about 5 years prior to that. And so it was a really long road to get the diagnosis. I had a surgery in 2021. I was in so much pain all the time. I've been in pain the last couple of days, so it doesn't discriminate whether there's good stuff or bad stuff happening. The pain is there, and it's debilitating. And when I'm working, trying to work my business around that and not giving myself time or space for rest, recovery, or being even proactive with exercise, it was not only damaging my physical health, but it was really damaging my mental health as well. I don't have any kids yet. And I don't know what that looks like for me. And that's scary. And I know you can understand this so deeply. But my last surgery, I am down a fallopian tube, a solution that still causes me so much pain. I am terrified, to be perfectly honest, about what that looks like for me in the future. I knew coming into this year that if I didn't change something about my life, then that journey was going to be so much harder. So to have a business that I'm in control of, and I have the choice whether I go to my studio with my laptop and I sit in my studio, or if I sit on my lounge with our dachshund Coco, then I have that choice. Bringing this business to a point that was going to be supportive of me physically, mentally, emotionally, and also financially. And losing my nan before all of this happened, honestly, I think my heart is still broken, and I don't think I will ever recover completely. I really don't. She was the light of my life. She used to say that to me all the time. She was so strong and so honest. Oh my God, she was honest. And within meeting people, within 2 minutes, she would tell them her life story and my life story and my brother's life story. And everyone would know my name and what I looked like. And she was just so proud all the time of everything that I did. She was one of my best friends. Oh my God, if you knew her, she was just the biggest joy to be around. I know that she is entwined with my entire life in everything I do and in everything that I have and that I'm to have in the future. I know her hand is on that. And I would give anything to be able to share with her what I've done. And
I hope that you know that we're all so proud of you, and your dad
you.
must be so proud of you.
I know.
Who you have become, what you have achieved, and where you're going.
I know that she doesn't want me to give up on anything, ever. And I will just live by that for the rest of my life. When it feels hard, I just think, what would Cheryl do?
And just so you know, I'm always going to be here to make sure you don't give up.
I think that surrounding yourself with people that inspire you and inspire you to be the best version of yourself is really important.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story in so much depth. If you're listening to this and thinking, I want that, I'm ready for more, then don't just sit on it. Taylah didn't get to 15K months by staying where she was. She made a decision to think bigger, move differently, and back herself. If you are ready to do the same, Come and join me inside the Rubia Method, where we combine mindset and strategy to actually grow your business.